tables, arcade games, TVs, leather couches. Definitely worth a stop, located in Salamanca. We would like to thank Mark Stanton and Higher Society for the sponsorship and bringing these games to you all. Check them out, located at 38 Main Street in Salamanca or another location in Gowanda, New York. We would like to thank all of our sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be doing these streams. Please tell them Blue Squad sent you and how much you appreciated being able to watch this stream. We would like to thank Blooming Nutrition for the sponsorship of this game. Blooming Nutrition offers clean energy drinks, protein shakes, protein coffees, and a variety of healthy food to go, located in Steenburg, New York. As always, down here in Allegheny, we would like to thank Kebby, Bomberry, and Goodies with 2 locations, one in Steenburg and one in downtown Salamanca. Check them out for some of the best goods at the best prices.
Hello and welcome to Inside the World of Box Lacrosse. I am your host, Trevor Butz. He is Greg Beecher, and we are so glad you could join us here this Wednesday afternoon as we go over all things inside the world of box lacrosse. And Greg, it has been a fun-filled week of lacrosse action with junior games going and senior games as well. 2 big final series, and let's just waste no time and get right into it. The first series we can talk about, the First Nations Junior B Lacrosse League playoff bracket here, as you'll get to look at it. The Seneca War Chiefs won their 7th First Nations League title, and they have advanced to the Founders Cup yet again. I unfortunately could not make the one game that we did cover at Cornerstone for that series. Greg, you were there. Tell me, what was it like seeing Tuscarora take on the War Chiefs, for the first time in the finals?
Way better game than I had expected. So the first game we covered with them, War Chiefs handled it pretty easily. This game, much different. They kept coming back. You could see they came out with a purpose. They literally came out and tried to smack the War Chiefs in the mouth. It was a much tougher game, just a physical, brutal battle back and forth. Towards the end, they pulled away a little bit, but it was a way more entertaining game, at least, than I was expecting. I didn't get a chance to watch the other 2 as we were covering things all over the place, so didn't really have a chance to go travel and watch it. But I tell you what, the Tusky team, still pretty new. Kudos to them. They made the championships. Pretty similar story to what we got going on in the senior series right now, really, with Tonawanda.
Yeah, I mean, both are programs that are growing and on the rise. I mean, Tuscarora, I believe their first season was 2022, and now here in 2025, they're already making the championship, set the record for most wins in a season in their program's history as well. So they are really growing, and with a guy like Randy Chrysler leading the program, I am sure that trajectory is going to continue to just go up and up and up
And it
as
seems
the
like
years go on.
everybody has played for him. Like, you talk around, I do podcasts with Gates. Gates played for him. I talked to Kebby. Kebby played for him. Like, it's just nonstop. Like, everybody seems to have played for him. So, yeah, he's one of those guys that definitely huge part of it. I mean, I'm talking to Tyson Bell doing the podcast, another guy who talks about Randy and Rogers. So, I mean, just one of those guys you can expect nothing except for it to go up. I think, so me and Paul were talking about it on Yeti Talks. You take field players, especially guys playing at a very high level, because he's got all the college out there, and he gets a lot of those guys from there, which are great players. But getting that muscle memory built in after the shot, instead of stopping, and just just standing still basically after the shot. Unless you're the guy down by X who's chasing after the ball or doing it, whoever shoots it stands up and kind of stares. What do I do here? Like, is it going out of bounds? Are we restarting? Rebuilding that muscle memory with these field players, so that way they know when somebody shoots, somebody has to be heading to the bench or at least going up top to make sure the fast break isn't coming. I mean, those kind of things, they don't happen overnight. Unfortunately for Jake Gainsworth, he reached the end of his career. What a great juniors career he had. I hope we see him somewhere next year. But it's been an awesome experience. We got to watch Blount, and then I got to watch Zach play. And now I think next year we're going to have Zach and his brother with the Yeti. Plus, we might see him trying out for Tonawanda. I love the juniors program. I love what he's doing. Hopefully we can continue to grow. Unfortunately, Onondaga didn't make it this year. I hope they're back next year. Tyanadaga pulled out, 2 days before the season started?
Yeah, right before we were set to get going, they pulled out. Although, to my understanding, they will be back next year. They did exit and still are in good standing with the league. So hopefully they'll be all set to go for next season, and we can add them into the fold and hopefully get Onondaga back and maybe anybody else. But as you mentioned, it's tough for Gansworth. Being at the end of his eligibility, the captain of the Junior Tomahawks. Always tough for those players that when their junior career ends, especially on a loss like that, it's never easy. But I think Gansworth's so impressive of a player. He really has been the guy for Tuscarora for quite some time. And I really would be surprised if he's not on a senior roster next year.
Me too. He says he wants to stay in the area and he's going to be coaching. So, I mean, he's that kind of guy. You can expect him to do good things and help with that youth program, which is going to get better and better. Hopefully, we see a Tusky senior resurgence in the near future, talking about teams we want to see back. Obviously, we'd love to see Onondaga come back. Goes without saying, I think it's only been them and the War Chiefs that have ever left the to the Founders Cup, right? They're the only two teams that have represented the First Nations League.
Yeah, it was the War Chiefs for the first 6 seasons, then Onondaga the last three, and now the War Chiefs break that up and win their seventh First Nations League title. But what they all have been missing, though, has been that coveted gold medal, that first place prize. They are both looking for, that first ever gold medal in league history. And, it's going to be up to the War Chiefs to try and bring it home this year. And I think they got just as good a shot as any.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, really, when you watch, you wonder who they're going to take. I've heard rumors that they're going to take J Bob up there. I think J Bob on that War Chiefs team puts them in a position to win. I mean, I think it's the best position. I don't know much about the history, so I don't know if some of the other teams were more poised, but I can say from watching that team, I think between J Bob and having so is Damian Warrior, I heard, is not playing. I think I heard he had a medical condition. I don't want to speak too out of turn, but if that is the case, we hope speedy recovery. But I think that's why he wasn't playing. So I would imagine J Bob's going to come in and help out. And then D played really good in the last game. We watched him as well. So they have the potential. Honestly, I got to say I'm guilty. The only time I've ever watched a Founders Cup game was when Onondaga was playing last year, so I don't know much about it. If it wasn't for the Onondaga kids that I knew that were playing, or the young men, I guess I should say, I probably wouldn't have watched it either. But yeah, they definitely got a good chance, and we got to get onto this, just like Paul says in the comments. Clutch was on fire last night. I just started calling him Chris Clutchier because wow, what a performance he had. And what was he, 3 for 3 at the beginning or 2 for 2? Like he couldn't miss at the beginning.
Yeah, at one point, when my main man Jason Pregel showed me the shot counters, he said it was 3 shots, 3 goals, all coming from Chris Clutch Cloutier. Thank you, Yuta Kieti. Appreciate the support in the chat. Yeah, Clutch was on fire. I mean, he's been on fire all playoffs, and that's something I've been talking about, for quite some time now. He just shows up in these big games. I don't know what it is, but he just has a knack for scoring in these big games. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, just as easy as you'd like it for Chris Cloutier. And, just what a performance from him. He's been on fire all playoffs. 19 goals for him in his last 5 playoff games. He's got 11 in just the championship series alone. And there you see what that has done for the Allegheny Arrows. They hold a 2-1 series lead here in this best of 7 championship series against the Tonawanda Braves and Allegheny. They're looking to try and take a 3-1 stranglehold on this best of 7 series in game number 4 coming up on Saturday. But Tonawanda, of course, looking to level things out and, draw the series even at 2.
Muted myself. Sorry, I was talking to the. We got a baby walking around, so I was saying hi to Levi. But anyways, I really think. Yeah, good morning. Actually, Grandmaster Franklin, you have to come introduce yourself sometimes. I really want to meet you. We appreciate the support. You are awesome. Love seeing you in the chats and everywhere. It's a big fan of it. So thank you very much. We really do appreciate having you.
Always supporting.
Yeah, always. We can always count on Grandmaster Franklin to be in the chats. It is huge. But now I forgot what I was talking about. What did you ask me? Oh no, what I was saying is this is Tonawanda's way they like to start the series. It always seems like it's very Tonawanda. Sometimes they start games slow, sometimes they start series slow. We saw what happened in the first game. You can expect them to come back with some fire. Honestly, I do not think anybody believes they're going to go 1-2-3 on Joel Watson or Jake Lazor again. It's just not in the cards. Now, obviously, not their best night. But, I mean, was it that Clutchier was on fire, or was it really, I mean, not Watson's best night? Obviously, they ended up putting Lazor in a little late. The goalie situation is such a big deal. I mean, we also got to talk about Goa. Sat the first two games, came out and he was on fire last night.
He looked like a man that said he didn't want to sit again. Noah
pretty
Abram
pretty
was
much.
playing great, and Utica Yeti, he was all the way back in college in North Carolina. Yeah, that's I've mentioned. He scored the game winner in the national championship game. Did Chris Cloutier. He also set a record at North Carolina for most goals in a single game with 9, I believe, as well. So he can score. He was known as a step in shooter, somebody who's just got a wicked good shot. He's developed it very well over the years. But just getting back to Go Abrams for a moment. He was spectacular last night. We've been talking a lot about Chase Martin through the first 2 games, and he just stole the show in game number 1, did everything he could in game number 2, and then to not have him in the net was a little surprising considering how well he played. But oh yeah, you got Go Abrams that can step right in and do just as well. I mean, that is just such a luxury for Billy D. Smith, Zed Williams, and company over there leading the Allegheny Arrows. As both of those goalies are, in my opinion, NLL caliber, and they have done a great job this series. But they're getting the goal scoring as well, as we got to see in game number 3. That was a good example of not only the stars showing up for Allegheny, but the depth showing up as well. As we get a comment, nice shirt, Greg. Greg's repping the Arrows. I got the Braves on
Brave shirt.
today.
What
As thank
they
you
they
to
listen to
our
Trevor.
friends.
Yes, what it is. You give us free merch, we are absolutely going to wear it. So, Trevor, I'll let you shout out Tonawanda. They gave you a shirt because they were too cool to give me one, but I'll let you shout them out.
There might be one held to the side for you there, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful shirt. Thank you very much, Cam Seneca, for the hookup, along with Roger Hill as well. We appreciate you. And then Greg, I believe it was Kebby, you said, helped
Yeah,
hook you up with that one
Kebby,
last night.
yeah, Kebby, I went down back last night. I said, hey, I need one of those for Trevor. He said, you need one for yourself as well. So shout out to Kebby. Really appreciate it. It honestly, so yeah, there's yours. So now
Yeah,
whenever
we
we
got
show
him
up,
around.
and that's what I say. I wear them. So whoever the home team is, I will wear them when we're there. If you give us one, I definitely will wear your team shirt, not an away team t-shirt. I have walked in like from the junior game. I walked into Tonawanda last week, right from juniors, had my Tusky shirt on, and everybody was like, "What are you doing, bud?" And I was like, "All right, hang on, I gotta go put the Blue Squad shirt on." So I had to go change my shirt. But yeah,
Looking at you
Tonawanda.
like something's wrong with you.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, "What is with all these looks?" I was impressed. Yeah, so lucky enough to grow up on the res and be taught lax. So, but we got to talk about that whole area. Silver Creek is a hotbed of lacrosse that I didn't even know. Trevor, give me a quick recap of just some of the guys that you know, because I know you can't list them all, but I mean, maybe enlighten me a little bit on some of the players that are coming out of there. I didn't know Zed was from there until a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw the nice banner for Zed down at the Cattaraugus Community Center, and that gave me a hint. Yeah, he did some big things down there. Clearly, as they honor him in that arena. Um, just some other big players. Back when I was in school, one Chase Scanlon was a very big player. I believe it was for Silver Creek High School at that time, as they've sometimes played with Lakeshore for certain sports and whatnot. But I believe it was just with Silver Creek at that time, and he lit it up. He was, looking like a young star back then, and did get to spend some time in the NLL. Has had some, trouble along the way, but did make it to the show. And somebody else that comes out of that area, Clay Scanlon as well. Clay Wizard, my man, leading the Bandits now, helped them win another ring.
Other than the
Um,
fact he's a bandit, he seems all right. You know.
he he's he's more than all right. He's a great player. He's a Newtown Golden Eagle as well. Coming back. playing for one of his local teams, and those are just a few guys that pop into my mind right away when we talk about the that like Lakeshore, Silver Creek, area and whatnot.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize so many of those guys were from there. I think Larson was a Silver Creek guy as well. Maybe not. He's a Tonawanda kid, but I don't know if he played. I think somebody said he played in Silver Creek.
He might have. I'd
Yeah,
have to look that one up, but
yeah.
it
Definitely
sounds
don't
like it
take
could
my
be right.
definitely don't take my word on it. I can promise you guys that. There's one thing, if you're ever listening to this, feel free to fact check me. I will let you know if I feel confident. Even if I do, I'd still fact check it. It doesn't mean it's going to be right. As my daughter's staring at me like, yeah, Dad, that's definitely right. You don't know what you're talking about. So I get it. It happens. But yeah, go. So when I was talking to the coaching staff last night, we get off track all the time. Talking to the coaching staff last night, basically it was to the point that Chase has been on fire and you didn't want to sit him, but you also need to keep go a sharp. Like you said, they really have a 1-1A there. You can go with either. It's not really a 1 and 2. Had to get him in there, and it's been an absolute blast. He did. You're correct. So we did get that right. Huge shout out. Uh,
Bandits, Grandmaster Franklin.
oh, get out of here with the bandits. But yeah, no, go. So having that, and I guess we got to give those guys a shout out too. So I don't want to butcher his name, Eli, and I'm gonna let you pronounce
Oh,
uh,
Eli and Heenan.
Heenan. Okay, so I was if I thought Heenan, but you know how I am. So shout out to those guys. If you didn't get a chance to watch the game last night, they are 100% responsible for that amazing footage we got down on the sideboards. Showed up with their cameras. Basically, we're like, hey, can we plug in? Me and Trevor figured that part out, and off to the races we were, and that was cool to watch the celebrations. You could really see the smiles. The breakaway. There's that one with Jeff Geddes running up. Like it's just so cool. You see him, and he's just jogging up and getting the goal, or the one where Kluche comes behind him. I can't wait till we get those uploaded and be able to do it. It's going to be an absolute, yeah, it's going to be a field day. I'm probably not going to get to them till after vacation because I'm going to want to spend a lot of time on those highlights. Maybe I will if we get some rain down here in Jersey.
I was gonna say I want to just delve right into that footage. That it looks so cool. I mean, he was going during warm-ups as well, getting great footage there, and it's all amazing. I loved every second of it,
The
and
bench shot too, like he gets out there and you just see uh Whitcomb, I forget Kobe's brother's name there, that sits on the side and like Goa just comes out and it was just I can't that Kent Whitcomb. But then you just see Goa and everybody come out and then like in the huddle around the net, yeah, that was
yep.
awesome. I gotta remember to turn the volume off for him because just like my phone, I forget to shut the volume off. I had to turn it down a little bit when they're doing their chats, but perfect timing for that one. They
Might
it's
might
yeah.
might catch a few cuss words in there, but
Absolutely amazing. What a cool perspective. And what a great group of guys. They're doing great things. They're kind of in the Newtown area. They're going to be hanging out there. I think they're going to start streaming more. He had his OBS set up. They were taking notes. Heenan taking a lot of, learning some plugins and stuff. Credit to those guys, though. Drove down there on their dime, took care of it all, got us all set up. Amazing camera equipment. Those are guys that just truly love what they're doing. I mean, those cameras are not cheap. Like, they're, yeah, very, very, very nice gear. And you can tell when you watch it. I'm interested to hear what people thought about it, if they liked it, if I switched too much, maybe we didn't switch enough. I think as we get better with those guys, maybe we'll get some headsets so we can talk to them. I can let them know a little better. I missed part of your first interview with Kluche, which was cool, and I was just sitting there staring at it and never hit transition, so everybody else could watch it. So it happens. It was great. I loved
got
it.
to hear a little bit of it anyways. But no, I mean, credit to Eli and Heenan. They were great to work with. I think I can speak for everybody at Blue Squad saying that if they want to help combine to make some more magic like that happen, I think we are all for it because I thought it was amazing. Like I said, I loved every second of it. Shots were great, added so much flavor to the broadcast. I felt. And I'd love for that to be every time. That was amazing. He the way he was shooting it, felt like it was like a Bandits big board show is kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, that is exactly what the handheld guy would be doing, at the Bandits game, getting those shots during warm-ups, and then just like the low camera guys in the corner as well. He did such a great job. For thank you to both of them for helping us out, for game number 3, which saw Allegheny win 15-6. And Greg, man, oh man, I don't think that's how either of us saw that game going. These games were close all season long between these teams. The widest margin of victory was 4 goals, and that's all the way back at the beginning of the season. This one, a 9-goal gap between these teams. What do you think exactly went wrong for Tonawanda, I guess, in that game?
I think they just got behind too far early, and like I watched it because I didn't even remember it being that far. It didn't feel like the game was that spread out. Like it felt like a much closer game. I was very excited to be able to watch it in person, which is the best way to watch box lacrosse, obviously. And we're glad we can hook guys up like Grandmaster Franklin, so he can feel at home and be able to watch his boys when you can't travel all the way from North Carolina or North Georgia, which is even farther. So yeah, that's nuts. But to be able to, I don't know. I was trying to put my finger on it. I was just rewatching it actually because when I saw the score again, I was like, man, the game didn't feel like it was that far apart. I honestly feel like just the goalies didn't have their best night. Watson didn't have their best night. They stuck with them, let them try to battle through it. Who do you see getting this next start? You see Lazora, or who would you go with? You're the coach of the Braves right now. You're going into the next game on Saturday. Who you going with, Jake or Joel? I mean, Joel's been great before too, so it's hard not to. But
It's it's a tough call for sure. What I will say is Joel definitely it definitely wasn't his best night last night, you know, to say the least. I do think, however, he is your best goalie. He is when he's been there, he's been the number one all season. So I think, this is what you brought him here for. You brought him in here to try and help you win the Can-Am championship and get you to the Prezi and then go from there. So I think you got to go with Watson. Do want to say is I may have made a goaltender switch a little bit earlier than the Braves did last night. I thought you could kind of feel the momentum, really in the favor of Allegheny in the game starting to get away from him. I mean, it was only 8-5 to end the second period, but it just felt like Allegheny kind of had that control. And once they added on a couple more, when I talked to some Tonawanda folks after the game, they were just saying it just felt like we were getting blown out, even though it was a close game because
yeah,
they just had all that momentum.
it was. And honestly, though, I don't even know a lot of it. So as soon as they put Joel in, the defense gave up a wide open shot, and he ended up the first shot he faced ended up being a goal. But like I said to Jason, who was standing there, shout out Jason Pregel too, because anybody who wonders how we do the shots and like so much extra stuff, it's Jason. So, but and I said to Jason, I said, man, I said I don't care who your goalie is. You leave Kluche, I think it was like one of their big goal scorers too. I was like, you leave them all alone in front of the net. That's going to happen, 6 out of 10 times anyways. So it's tough. The defense didn't really do him any favors. A couple of those, yeah, he might have wanted back, but man, I just think honestly, Tonawanda seemed a little sluggish. They play like this sometimes. They're a very fiery team and a passionate team, and sometimes it seems like they just had a hard time getting it going. Gates seemed to be getting a little frustrated not being able to get the ball past Goa. He had what, one goal last night, I think.
Gates, I have him as having a pair. He had
Okay.
two, and I have two for Owen Hill as well. I mean, you talked about Kluche there. We've obviously talked about him a lot. 6 goals for him last night. I mean, when you got somebody like Cloutier just firing on all cylinders, it doesn't matter. It could be one of the best goalies in the world in between the pipes. He is so tough to stop. Most of his shots, I think, were right on the inside of posts. Like there's just nothing anybody's gonna do. And and in addition to that, you get 3 goals coming from Lane Smith as well. That's 9 right there. Uh,
Two
for
guys.
Allegheny. And it's like that's more than Tonawanda had in the whole game, and they just got it just between the two guys. Cloutier matches the Braves' whole total from that game. That just goes to show you how well that team was shooting the ball last night.
It was, and I think Kluche really just wanted to show us that he can score pretty goals like Frazier too. That jumping one going between the legs, I was like, man, I don't think he can miss tonight. He just seemed to have the magic. But not only did he have the magic with some of those big shots, but it was. Thank you very much, Miss Butz. We do appreciate that. It was a dip. It really was another level. I mean, to be able to experience this, that was cool. And last night, really, to have everybody there. So Jason's there doing the stats. We got Charity on our camera. You're doing just commentary. You don't have to worry about the stream as long as the idiot running the stream doesn't mute you, and everybody could hear you. That makes things better. But it really was. Each game seems to get better and better. I love it as we're going into the season. Much like the Arrows, I think honestly the offense. Having all of these guys that come, like it's great to have Kluche and Frazier and Lane Smith and Kobe, but like Kobe grew up with those guys. Kobe's coming from Six Nations with Jason Lane and a couple. I think Xavier Taylor. There might be a couple other guys too that I'm forgetting. But they've got a lot of guys traveling. I think really now they are gelling. It's like you always talk about. Do you want to peak at the beginning of the season or the end? You definitely don't want to peak at the beginning. As we've seen, the Bandits are the only team that can peak at the beginning, take a little time off, and then peak at the end. Most other teams don't do it. It'll be interesting to see. I've been wondering Tonawanda because they are such an emotional team and it's been running so high. Could they carry this all the way through? I mean, like that win they had in Logan Field was electric, but it's emotionally draining to have those big nights. I mean, it's tough on you to go through that time and time again. I mean, that was huge. You could tell it was their first championship win. Everybody's going nuts. Everybody could feel it. It was in the environment. I think Allegheny last night, they just didn't, I don't know, it just wasn't their night, I would say. I don't think anybody on the team's going to say they had a great night, with the exception of maybe O-Dog. He had a pretty good game. He's one of those very underrated players, but I actually want to talk about this Arrows defense. I think we spent a lot of time talking about Goa. The Arrows defense, extremely underrated. And I got to say, Sherman the Tank Williams, that kid, young man, I don't know how old he is. I have no idea. But I don't know how he's not on an NLL roster. He's my defensive player of the year in the Can-Am, consistently there. He's not flashy, doesn't get a lot of goals, but what he does in transition, and he is just solid. Like nobody runs him over. Like you run into that, it's running into a brick wall. He is a big dude. I don't know if he's ever played in the NLL. He's Zed's brother, I think somebody told me. I don't know 100% on that. Again, don't quote me, but I would definitely say Defender of the Year in Can-Am, my vote goes to Sherman the Tank or the Paint Man, Sherman Williams.
That's what I like calling him, the painter, the paint man, Sherman Williams. He is a great player. I love him. Great at reading those cross floor passes as well. I feel like he is almost always every game knocking them down, intercepting passes. He is so great at, like I said, reading those passes cross floor. But I mean, how about Jeff Geddes as well?
Oh
Got
my
to talk with
goodness.
him last night. First of all, such a great dude, very lovely guy. Said
Always
it
says
was his
hi.
first interview ever, and it didn't look like it at all. He was, looked like a seasoned veteran during that. He was such a nice guy. Anyways, Darius Anderson, good player as well. Another guy like Geddes that can play solid, hard nosed, gritty defense, but can also get up and show off their flash and goal scoring ability on the other end of the floor as well. Jesse Jimerson, somebody who I really like talking to as well. Another, good character guy, I feel like, on this Arrows team. Their captain, solid defender, Rudy George as well. Everybody loves watching Rudy George play, and I don't blame him. He is electrifying out there. Tristan Jensen, oh so solid as well.
I do got to say, I'm not going to say Rudy looks old, but when he took his helmet off, he was older than I thought because of the style he plays. He's just like a hard nose, in your face, gritty, fast. Like to have the speed he has, I'm not sure how old he is. I don't want to say much, but probably, mid 20s. We'll say mid 20s. So to have the speed he has in his mid 20s is very impressive. I'm a huge Rudy George fan, honestly. I'm going to get him on the podcast one of these days. Jesse Jimerson, I love watching him. And I mean, we talked about all this, and we still haven't even talked about Xavier Taylor, a guy who had a shot with Halifax last year, gets up the floor, can play offense or defense, and doesn't hurt you, no matter where you put him. Honestly, I think everybody likes to talk about the Arrows offense, but when you talk about what the defense was able to do to the frustration of Tonawanda, that was a big thing. Yes, Go had a big game when called upon. He was doing great, but I really think the defensive effort in front of him and to be able to switch because Goa and Chase have different playing styles. I mean, Goa's a very
Oh,
big
big
dude.
time.
Yeah, plays the angles. Chase moves. It's just a very different style, and you can see how the defense adjusts compared to who the goalie is, which to me was just amazing. That's one of my favorite things about not doing the commentaries. I get to pay more attention to that. I was a defensive guy growing up, so watching those D plays and the slides and the transition guys that don't always get the recognition, I try to shout them out. You talked a minute about Darius Anderson. I hope he's okay. He was a little slow moving. A couple points last night. I think he wiped out at one point going after somebody, but I mean, I feel like we're talking about all this with Allegheny, and we still haven't talked about now Zach Belter with the transition game. I've never seen him get up the floor this well. I don't know if it's the couple of years of playing with Priolo. I won't say the Bandits, but playing with Priolo that has, I have seen such an improvement since the first year we watched him in Tusky Juniors, which he was still a great player, to watching him now. on that defense. And then like Cam Seneca, yeah, I don't know. I could talk defensive guys all day. Cam was one of the guys I think still, and Zach had a pretty good game. Probably not his best, he'll tell you, but Cam I thought still had a really good game. Defensively responsible, got up the floor, protected the ball, gave him a bunch of opportunities to get into the game and to keep things going. I feel like we got to talk about that defense a little bit, but they were not on their best last night.
Yeah, they were giving up giving up some tough shots. But I mean, that's also you got to credit the Allegheny forwards as well. They were making them work.
Yeah.
When you got guys, like Kluche scoring 6 goals, that doesn't happen without a little bit of work going into it as well. So they were really working that defense hard. But in talking about the Tonawanda D, I mean, I really love watching Cam Seneca. You mentioned him as well. He's a guy, good character guy, I think, as well on that Tonawanda team. I thought he played pretty good. Got a lot of loose balls. Was able to transition the play up the floor. And as long as you're just not turning the ball over, that's really what you want for a lot of those guys. Just get it up into safe territory. Let the old guys go and do their job. He blocked some shots, I believe, as well. Of course, Belter. He went to the Paul Dawson School of Shot Blocking, so he knows how to block the shots with the best of them. As we got to see, I know particularly in Game 2. I'm sure he got a few in Game 3 as well. But yeah, I think it wasn't the best showing from that Tonawanda defense for sure. I think they'll tell you that themselves, but they're going to have to be better if and as the series goes on. Gave up 11 in the first game, held Allegheny to just 9 in Game 2, which is right where you want them, but then 15 far too much in Game 3.
That being said, part of it I think was they were just exhausted. Like you said, they ran them ragged. The offense didn't get a lot of offensive resets, something that I think they really do well most of the time. I think you got Owen Hill up there, Zach Terry. I mean, you could go list goes on, but you've got those grinder guys that can usually get those resets and the balls out front. I mean, Grennan, yeah, definitely not Tonawanda's night, but I think a lot of the defense being tired was really they were run ragged. I mean, the offense did not seem to have a ton of time on the floor. Even their goals, I mean, they had a few, but it wasn't. Yeah, they just weren't taking the time up there. I think a lot of it was the possessions and the resets that Allegheny just seemed to be able to get. And then you hit that third period, and like you said, it was pretty close at the end of the second, but I think they were just exhausted. I mean, they were run down, and their offense wasn't giving them a break.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something that, I noticed a ton of for Allegheny in that Newtown series is they could just get reset after reset after reset after reset. And I remember, I believe it was game 4 in that series. I looked up at the clock. It was like around 5 minutes to go in the third. And then, reset after reset. And all of a sudden I look up, there's about 2 minutes to go. And it's like, wait, they've just had the ball this whole time. They haven't even lost it. They just easy shot on net. Goalie makes the save, pick it up, get the loose ball, fresh 30, kill some more time. Allegheny is oh so good at that. The Braves, we've seen it out of them throughout the season, but I don't know if anybody is as good at as doing that as the Arrows are. It's so impressive to watch. And like we talked about, they made the Braves defense work in that game, and that might be a template for Allegheny if they want to have success throughout the rest of this series. And just getting back to a point that you made a little while ago about, Tonawanda and how, emotional they are as a team when they play. Those highs and those lows can really take a lot out of you. And, with Allegheny having won the championship last year, went through the Prezi, got a bronze medal, a large part of this team was on that team last year. They have that experience that, they lose game 2. They can say, oh, it's all right. Cool, calm, and collected. This is why we play a best of 7 series. You can lose one or two, and it's not the end of the world. And I think that's kind of what the Arrows did. They kept themselves calm and composed and, showed out in game 3. Now it's on Tonawanda to respond in game number 4. And they're going to have to do it on the road at the Allegheny Community Center on Saturday. And that's a tough place to win, Greg. As you well know, it was packed and it was loud in the community center last night.
It was Tonawanda faithful doing a pretty good job showing up. They had a bus
Oh yeah.
come, so that was cool. You watched all the kids getting off the bus too. I love seeing that. And then they're all up there, and
I
I
love the new like Tonawanda.
Yeah, that's good.
They've been doing. That's great. I want to see more of that all throughout the league. I love it.
It was
Everybody
such a yeah, it was
supporting
such a
their
good
team.
game that the kids were not running as bad behind us. You still had the kids like under 6 that, don't really pay much attention. But the older kids from like your 8 to 15-year-olds, they were not up messing around. They were watching. It was huge. Yeah, who's the momentum was huge last night. I
Yep.
actually want to take a minute and talk about Amos Whitcomb. I think he has come a very long way. So what did he have last night? 2 goals, incredible highlight goals, I believe, but or did,
I have him with just one, but
just one?
four in the series.
Aha.
So
Maybe
he's been definitely contributing. I imagine there's a lot of these guys. I'm only talking goals. I imagine a lot of them have a plethora of assists. Somebody like Zach Miller, just got on the board for the first time in Game 3, but the offense really runs through him a lot. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's got about 50 assists that I just don't have marked down. But Amos Whitcomb, he has been, very impressive this year. I liked him a lot last year, but you can see that growth in his game. And I think a lot of that has to do with the coaching he's been getting at UAlbany, but also the coaching he's getting here, getting to learn, the offensive side of the game from Zed Williams. I mean, an NLL pro, a champion, at the field and box level. He's somebody that can teach a lot of young players some valuable lessons. And I think he's imparted some wisdom on Amos. And I'm sure Billy D has as well. I know Billy D, one of
he
the
came
best
out the back
defenders
door
you'll
a
ever
couple
see.
times. Well, that's what I mean. Is like they were running Amos out the back door a couple times
Yeah.
with those guys. So he's playing all this offense at UAlbany. He's a big offensive attackman, and then to be able to play defense while playing with Kluche and Frazier and Lane Smith and getting to play with his brother Kobe, like you're up there with some amazing guys. Everybody on that roster, and they have got their offense is way bigger than people think. So you take a guy like Josh Becker, Amos Whitcomb. Those two are big dudes. Like you stand next to them, they're both big dudes. Kobe Whitcomb, maybe not so big. They got a couple guys that aren't, but like even Kluche's way bigger than most people think he is. And so the tandem of him and Zach Miller, I think, has been amazing between the speed Miller brings to it with Kluche, and I think he's a way bigger part of those resets. He picks up way more loose balls and causes so much more havoc. Even when he doesn't pick up the loose balls, he's chopping down like he's a defender in front of the net. Like the ball
Oh,
comes
yeah.
out and he is just chopping down, setting his body in the way, getting guys. He was a man possessed last night. I don't know if we could say enough good things about the way he was playing. I can't wait to get through his highlights. Amos, so to be able to play that UAlbany offensive style and then come into this team where you're running out the back door sometimes, you're more of a set and picks guy moving. To be able to play all those roles is going to make him a way more well-rounded player. I think it's huge. Shout out to Kevy for bringing all the talent he has because you're going to take these homegrown kids that are getting to play, and yes, it's more competitive, and you might lose a couple guys as the rosters are getting tighter, but you've still got all those guys practicing with you all year. You've got guys coming to warm-ups who maybe don't dress. Guys are learning. I had a chance to listen to the Creators Game podcast last night as we were riding home. They were talking to, the more involved you are with it, and shout out to those guys. They did an awesome job. They shouted us out a couple times. Thank you very much. And most of them even pronounced it right, which is impressive. We get a lot of blue squash, which I usually just giggle and don't correct anybody. But shout out to them. 2 out of 3 called us blue squash,
Just
which is
hand him a
impressive.
sticker.
Yeah. The I, boy, as you move through the rest of the series, though, who's winning Saturday, Trevor? I'm gonna put you on the spot first. Who's taking Saturday?
So my original prediction that I will stick with is that Tonawanda was going to lose in game 3, and then Allegheny would be up 2-1, and then they would win game 4 to tie the series up 2-2 as we head back to Logan Field for some Monday night lacrosse. Who needs Monday night football when we got Monday night lacrosse coming at you live from Logan Field? That is a huge game, especially if that series ends up tied at 2, or else it could be 3-1 in favor of Allegheny, which would make it, potentially a clinching game. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think Tonawanda wins on Saturday, and I'm going to say they win game 5 as well and take the 3-2 lead.
I noticed my volume button wasn't moving. I was like, hang on, I'm not talking. So yeah, I don't just do it to you, Trevor. I do it to myself as well. But it's hard to disagree with what you're saying. I think honestly, if they win Saturday, I think you're right. I think they win Saturday, they take Monday. I think if they lose Saturday, the series is over. They're
Yeah.
such an emotional team. They could come back to Tonawanda and rally, and it could happen. But oh boy, that's going to be tough, and especially playing against the offense like these guys have. And the games, so you got Saturday, Monday, and then it would be what, 7 is Wednesday? If only I
So
had the schedule that maybe, Trevor could built for me.
if only we had the schedule, as there you get to see part of it. And there's the schedule. Yes, game number 4 coming up on Saturday. Game 5 Monday night, 8 o'clock, August 11th at Logan Field. Then if we need game number 6, it'll be Thursday, August 14th, 8 p.m. at the Allegheny Community Center. And then if this series goes the distance, Friday, August 15th, 8 p.m. down at Logan Field. And I'll tell you what, Greg, it is so hard to pick against Allegheny after what I saw last night. That Arrows team, looked like I said, an experienced team that wants to win back-to-back championships. And it's so tough to pick against them, but Tonawanda, that was my pick initially, was they were going to win game 4. I've been sitting on that for a week, and I'm going to stick to my guns here. And I'll say they take game 5 at home as well and go up 3-2. Anything after that, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough to say. I mean, even honestly, it's a coin toss every night. That game very easily at the end of the second period. I was half expecting Tonawanda to come out on fire in the third. I feel like they're a late team a lot. It kind of went the opposite way last night though for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really think the defense was just tired out. I think the offense needs to get some more resets, give them a little more time off the floor. I'm sure they'll be watching all kinds of tape. They actually do have a couple guys that'll ask for time things, so they do have some defensive leaders that are really, locking down on that offense and trying to figure a few things out. They're not going to be happy with themselves because, anytime your goalie gets pulled as a defender, you feel bad. You feel like it's your fault. Unless you're letting off, if he gave up 4 goals from the transition line, you're like, bud, get it together. But watching that game, those defensive guys are going to feel bad about that because Joel Watson was not helped a lot early. So he was kind of left out of the island, maybe 1 out of the first 4. But yeah, those shots, you get Cloutier in tight. He's all warmed up. He's been playing. He's fired. He's right at the prime, I think, at the beginning, and it's what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And like what you were saying, sometimes those defenders, you feel partly responsible and you feel bad that, you know, this my teammates' night could have just been ruined because of my performance and because I could have done something better. Maybe I could have blocked that shot. Maybe I could have taken that chance away that led to a goal. Whatever. It's never on one guy. Let's
Yeah.
make that clear. It's never one guy, it's never one play. It is, especially 15-6, it is a multitude of things that went wrong for Tonawanda in that game, and we can't ever just blame one person or one situation. But lots of things that didn't go right for them. But some, like you kind of mentioned for a moment, Tonawanda had been so good late in these games, fighting back, winning third periods. They've been outscoring opponents 37-6 in the playoffs in third periods alone. Greg, in this past game, they got outscored 7-1 in the third period. I mean, that was just completely against, the grain and what, the trends have been saying. Even in the first 2 games of this series, Tonawanda outscored Allegheny 4-2 and 3-2 in the third periods of games 1 and 2, respectively. So they had won the third periods, even in a game they lost earlier in the series, but not the case at all. And I think credit to, Billy D. Smith and his squad for, getting the team ready to go to come out into that third period and, just light it up. And I mean, 7-1, that's a statement third period, I think, from Allegheny.
100%. That is a huge statement. I think that was what they're making. Also, the other thing is, I think everybody talks about Tonawanda. We like to talk about their big defense and how punishing they can be on the inside. I think Allegheny takes that a little personal. I think they're like, hey, don't act like these guys are just running through us, and I honestly think, like you said, Billy D, what he really brings to that defense is that grit and that, we're going to smack you in the mouth. There's no free stuff in the offensive zone when you're in Allegheny zone, and it's like that pretty much throughout the Can-Am. But I think he really is, finishing your checks, no free shots, nobody's in the middle of the crease, and really they did not leave Goa on an island very many times. I mean, he was able to respond to a couple of them. I can't wait till I get to see. At one point, Eli said there's a save where Goa's like rolling back and he gets to bounce, like he watches the ball bounce. So I'm pretty excited to get to see that. But Goa played great, and I honestly think just the way the defense evolves to play differently for the guys. You give Goa's a big kid. You give him them outside shots, he's stopping them all day. So Goa able to step up, plays great with the defense. Yeah, I think they're way more physical than they everybody gives them credit for, and I think last night was a testament to that.
Sometimes that might be a good thing, that maybe they're not getting that credit for being overly physical, because I've noticed the teams that we tend to associate with being overly physical oftentimes take quite a few penalties. Allegheny did take a bit more than I think they would have wanted, or especially earlier on in that game, but like that might not be all always a bad thing. And just talking about their defense, when, as we always say when we start listing guys, we're going to leave somebody out. Somebody that I noticed that I did not mention that I really wanted to, because I've been very impressed by his game as of late. Kyle Gonciorek for Allegheny had the big game winner in the game against Newtown earlier on in the postseason. Um, has been playing very solid defense. Somebody that I thought kind of flew under the radar, during the regular season. Got to do a bit more research on him, as we got into the playoffs. And, he plays some high level collegiate lacrosse for Syracuse as well, transferring over to Jacksonville for his grad season. But looks like a natural in the box for Allegheny. And he's been, a big help, I think, to their defense. And, you know, allowing them to, like you said, not leave Goa on those islands. Make sure he is supported. Somebody else back there as well, Dana Ray, has really been playing his role well, doing everything that the team asks him to do. As I'm a big believer, one of his main jobs, get other guys off the floor. Ray is a guy who's not at all afraid to get into the mixer. One tough customer. And if
No,
he
he
can
did a
get a
great
guy
job
like
taking Gates off the floor last night. And I think any coach in the world is going to tell you you're going to take Gates Abrams off the floor with Dana Ray, who's a very solid defenseman, but to take away that scoring threat from Gates and to be able to, honestly, Waylon was very quiet last night.
he was. But yeah, like just real quick, like you were saying, anybody will take that kind of trade. And that's not a knock on Dana. That's just a testament to how good somebody like Gates Abrams is, or Waylon Abrams, whoever it may be. And if he can do that, that's serving a purpose. That is serving a role. And he is, contributing to his team through that. And that is why we all say it takes a full team. It takes a team effort. Everybody contributes. Even if you're not getting all the goals and the assists, everybody plays a role and does a job. And I think he's been doing a great job of it so far in this playoffs. But you mentioned Waylon there. Waylon is, I think, one of the streakiest players on Tonawanda for sure. Like when he is on, he can get you 3 or 4. But when he's not on, it's going to be a night like last night where he's a bit quiet. 4 goals for him in the series. And then, speaking of streaky players for Tonawanda, I mean, Zach Terry, he got his first goal in the finals, last night. But before that, he had been kept quiet. And that's another guy. He can go for 5 or 6. And for Allegheny to keep him off the board for, 2 straight games and only hold him to 1 last night is very impressive.
Yeah, no, they were even talking about him on the Creators Game podcast, how he comes from North Carolina and he's playing. So that is huge. He's doing good things. Well, when you
Wicked
talk,
outside shot.
well, that's what I was just going to say. So he had a lot of luck on Craig Seneca, or not Craig Seneca. I'm sorry, they played the Warriors. So I was drawing a blank there. So, but he
Damani
had
Mitten.
Devontae Mitten. So he had a lot of luck against Mitten, and he was very good with that outside shot. Goa, I think, is the kryptonite of those outside shooters for a lot of these guys because I mean Goa's been in the NLL, he's played the World Games, he's been at that top level, he's been facing these shots. I mean, he got the save heard around the world with that little finger stop there, and yeah. So I.
That's when he became Captain America, Goa Abrams, with that save. to deny Lyle Thompson and send the Americans to the gold medal game. Oh, how electric it was. I'll never forget watching that. What a play from Goa Abrams. I just had to dive into that for a moment. I love it.
No, I do as well. I bring it up every chance I get. I think it's amazing. I love that he's in Can-Am and then the whole reason. So I'm going to just basically say that the United States only took silver because of Can-Am. So, I mean, fair enough.
They definitely contributed, but we're talking about Goa and those outside shots. I think he's a big guy, plays his angles well, and with the smaller net, he reads it, very easily and can make those simple saves. The key, I think for Tonawanda to maybe unlock a guy like Zach Terry a bit more and unlock that outside shot is you got to get him moving. It's like what we've talked about with guys like Nick Rose in the NLL, and Warren Hill, other big goaltenders that play their angles well. You got to get them moving. And, that's where that east-west passing comes into play, which Tonawanda and Allegheny, I think, frankly, have both struggled a bit at points with that. It's not an easy thing by any means to, go pass that ball through the middle, so many sticks and traffic in the way.
Especially
But
this time of year, though, because now the defenses are really getting on
everybody
fire, too. And yeah,
sharpening up on it. But if Tonawanda can, figure out a way to get Goa moving, if that's going to be the goalie they face, that's also where that comes into play as well. That deception of, do you go with Martin? Do you go with Goa? Because you got to prepare very differently depending on who you're going to see. And maybe Tonawanda prepped a little bit more for Martin, and then they got Goa and threw him off a little bit. But that's where Allegheny has a big advantage. But if it is Goa and Tonawanda can figure out how to get him moving, that can open up those holes and give them the chances they're looking for. But if they can't get him moving, I think it's going to be tough.
it is. And you would think a lifetime of playing against Go would help him a little bit, but Big Brother won last night. So got to give him that one. I didn't see Lee. Lee wasn't in the lineup last night, was he?
Yeah, I don't believe Lee is officially rostered anymore.
Okay.
I
I
do
knew he
want to
got
say
hurt,
he
so I
was.
wasn't. Yeah.
I did actually thank you to my friend Mark Brandt for hooking me up with the official final
Ooh.
rosters for all these teams. And you can only keep 30 guys, I believe. So
And then they have to cut
somebody
down to
did it.
25 too. It's crazy. All right.
Yeah,
I will be right
somebody
back.
did
You
have to
go ahead and
go.
go through those rosters.
Oh, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Greg's, I guess, got to step away for a moment, but just I believe Lee did officially get released. That's just the way it goes. Sometimes you got to make room. But Mason Homer walks in the door, and that's the trade-off. I think Homer has been playing some good ball for Tonawanda, since joining up. Guy from out near Onondaga. I believe he was with the Red Hawks at one point this season. Don't have it written down, but I want to say he was there. If not this year, in the past. A guy who's played at Lindenwood, Lafayette High School. 9 points in his Lindenwood career through 36 games. He's been a good addition, I think, for Tonawanda, playing out out the back door, playing more defense than offense for the Braves. But that's just how it goes in sports sometimes. Lee gets let go, but I believe he's still hanging around as a coach, or in some capacity. I want to say he's still affiliated with the team, but some you know one space has got to get open for somebody else to enter onto the team. Mason Homer comes into the door, and he's done a good job, I think, for Tonawanda. But yeah, just telling everybody, Greg, Homer, I think, was the man that came in for Lee to exit to open up that roster spot. And I mean, sometimes that's just the nature of things, right? You gotta make room.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. You got to make the hard choices. It is nice seeing Lee still always on the bench helping coach, so definitely understands. We haven't even talked about him though. Mason Homer, one of my favorite players coming out of Onondaga. Really that transition style, and I feel terrible because the kid walked by me the other day and I didn't know who he was without his helmet on, and I asked somebody, I was like, "Is that?" And they were like, "Yep." I was like, "Fuck!" I didn't even say hi to him. But yeah, no, I do love watching him. That D transition, that's very much my style. I think he has been a big addition. It's been helpful. Sturos' suspension's up, so he comes back into the lineup tomorrow or on Saturday. Is that correct?
Yeah, I
Or he
believe
can.
he is eligible. It said 7 of 7 was done last night, so. I want to say he's eligible. There were some other issues around that that I don't want to get into, but he should be eligible to return this year. There could be a chance we might not see him till next year, depending on some outside factors. But if he's able to step back into the lineup, that's another NLL talent, in my opinion, anyways, that would be entering that lineup again for Allegheny defensively. And man, oh man, after only giving up 6 goals in the previous game, getting somebody like Sturos back in the lineup, I think will just make that defense even better.
I honestly think it's the reason the Firewolves didn't do as well as they did this year. I think you got rid of Sturos and Grennan. You lost a lot of the heart, the passion.
Yeah.
Something that I think, we always talk about Tonawanda with it, but, Leo's one of those guys too. And Leo, much like Dana Ray, he can get under guys' skin better than most people, which is part of the reason he's sitting out for 7 games. He's really good at getting under your skin. Usually does it with a smile on his face. So, yeah, he
He
is. Yeah,
he can be a pest out there for sure. But those are the kind of guys when you have them on your team, you
love him.
love them. But when you play against them, you hate them. And I think Leo is like the epitome of that. I know just remember watching him with Albany. I really did not like watching him play, but obviously I can appreciate what he does, but man, oh man, he was so tough to play against. He's always roughing people up, giving them a hard time, being that pest, playing that role, and he does such a good job of it. And like I was talking about earlier, you need those guys. You need people to do that. That can throw a team off. It makes a difference. And I mean, he's a big reason, and I think why Albany got to the finals that year. And you've been saying, that since the beginning, really, of the season of the NLL season, that man, you were just not happy with them not bringing guys like Sturos and Grennan back. For a while, I remember you saying that, and it's like pretty true. Albany didn't do as well, and I think it might have had something to do with it because, in my opinion, those under the radar guys for the Firewolves 2 years ago were part of what got them there. Guys
100%.
contributing in ways nobody could have ever imagined. But yeah, he definitely will bring a lot back into the lineup for Allegheny if he's able to return. Hopefully he is, because now getting to watch him, from a neutral point of view and the neutral perspective, I really have enjoyed watching him play, and I
I
think he
have to
adds
admit the
a
same
lot to
thing with
their lineup.
Frazier and Kluche. I do have to admit, unfortunately, even Belter. Maybe that's why I think he's playing better now because he doesn't have that Bandits orange on. So it could be when we do watch him neutrally, because like watching Kluche, I absolutely love watching him play for the Arrows. When I watch him play for the Bandits, I'm like, man, you suck. Yeah,
It's amazing, how a T-shirt can change your whole opinion on a guy.
it really can. You put a little A on his chest, I'm good to go. You put a B up there, and I'm like, beat it, buddy.
Yeah, that's the old Bobby Euchre saying I remember from Major League there is yep, no, it makes a difference though. Just the change of a uniform can make
Yeah.
all the difference in how you feel about a guy. But
Yeah, the
no,
women really love him, and then it makes the women sick. So I mean, it all depends on. Yeah, that was amazing. I do.
love it,
Major League
love
was
it.
those are
Somebody got
those
the
are awesome.
reference.
Yes. All right, I got to get rolling though because anybody who doesn't know, we drove 7 hours. We got back into New Jersey at about 5:45. Slept for like 4 hours. Got up, got ready for the show, and here we are. So, without Trevor Butz, we would definitely not have been doing this. So, huge thank you very much, Trevor. You do not have me, Trevor. Do not worry about what Paul's saying in the chats at all. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'll pull it up so everybody else can see. Definitely not the case. You don't have me yet. But I really do appreciate
We're
you
getting
guys.
there.
Everybody,
We're
yeah.
getting there.
No, everybody who is making this possible. Huge shout out to Charity Beecher, who was sick and rode all the way back and forth with me. So thank you very much, Charity. Not feeling so great today, but we
She
are
was
making
sick
progress.
and dealt with him for 14 hours round trip. I mean, she's a hero.
She's a saint.
She's a saint. Yeah.
Absolute saint. All right, Trevor, I'll let you close us off, and then I'll see everybody else. Actually, it'll be Saturday, Kids Championships all day Saturday, down in Allegheny, where we will meet back up with Trevor Butz. Huge shout again. Jason Pragle, Dano's going to be up there. Dano's going to help us stream. So anybody ever wants to learn any of this stuff, come on up and talk to us. Maybe not right before the game, but anytime other than just before the game as we're setting up is great. And even in between periods is a great time to come over. We'll teach anybody anything that wants to learn. If you genuinely want to learn, we want to grow this game as much as we can and really get as much lacrosse as we can captured. So the more of these people we get out there, the better things get. Just the production value, just Eli and Heenan stepping up last night, that was huge. It really makes a day because now you get all these guys. Like someday there's going to be people who are bragging to their grandkids, like I shut down Kluche on the doorstep, I shut down Frazier, I scored a goal on Go Abe. Like these kind of things are cool, and for us to be able to capture it, absolutely amazing. I will finally
And,
shut my mouth and let you talk.
and here's the clip to prove it. They can also say it too. No, I love that as well. Like I said, thought it added so much to the broadcast. Fly Pelican, fly in the chat as well. No, I loved it. Really added a lot to the show, and I'd love to see it every game going forward. It was amazing. We will wrap things up here. I have been Trevor Butz. He has been Greg Beecher. As we say, so long for now, and thank you so very much for watching.
We would like to thank Blooming Nutrition for the sponsorship of this game. Blooming Nutrition offers clean energy drinks, protein shakes, protein coffees, and a variety of healthy food to go, located in Steenburg, New York. As always, down here in Allegheny, we would like to thank Kebby, Bomberry, and Goodies with 2 locations, one in Steenburg and one in downtown Salamanca. Check them out for some of the best goods at the best prices. We would like to thank CB's and Allegheny Clark, more than your average dispensary. Stop in, it's like a lounge. They've got pool tables, arcade games, TVs, leather couches. Definitely worth a stop, located in Salamanca. We would like to thank Mark Stanton and Higher Society for the sponsorship and bringing these games to you all. Check them out, located at 38 Main Street in Salamanca or another location in Gowanda, New York.